The technology to implement the mark of the beast exists right now and is being deployed across the world at an unprecedented pace. What the Apostle John saw in his vision 2,000 years ago seemed impossible until this generation. But today, we have the exact technological infrastructure needed to fulfill every detail of the beast system described in Revelation chapter 13. Digital identification, biometric scanning, cashless payment systems, social credit monitoring, and artificial intelligence surveillance are not future concepts. They are current realities that are being integrated into a global control system that matches biblical prophecy with terrifying precision. What I am about to show you will demonstrate that we are not just moving toward the mark of the beast. We are living in the generation that is building the technological foundation that will make it possible. The pieces are falling into place so rapidly that the only question remaining is not whether this system will be implemented, but how soon the final components will be activated and who will be in control when they are. In Revelation chapter 13, John describes a future world system where a powerful leader known as the Beast will require everyone on earth to receive a mark on their right hand or forehead, without which they cannot buy or sell anything. For most of Christian history, this prophecy seemed impossible to fulfill because there was no technology that could track and control every financial transaction on a global scale. But today, for the first time since John wrote these words, we have the technological capability to implement exactly the kind of system he described. Let me show you how current technological developments are creating the infrastructure for the mark of the beast with remarkable precision. First, consider the rapid shift toward cashless payments that has accelerated dramatically in recent years. Physical currency is becoming obsolete as digital payment systems take over global commerce. Credit cards, mobile payments, cryptocurrencies, and central bank digital currencies are replacing cash transactions in nations around the world. Countries like Sweden, Denmark, and South Korea are moving toward completely cashless societies where physical money is rarely used and may soon be eliminated entirely. China has already implemented a comprehensive digital payment system through applications like Alipay and WeChat Pay that track every purchase made by over 1 billion people. The European Central Bank is developing a digital euro. The Federal Reserve is exploring a digital dollar, and dozens of other nations are creating their own central bank digital currencies that will give governments unprecedented control over individual spending. This shift toward digital payments creates exactly the kind of economic control system that Revelation describes. When all transactions are digital, governments can track every purchase, control who can spend money, and instantly shut off access to the financial system for anyone who refuses to comply with official requirements. Second, biometric identification technology has advanced to the point where individuals can be uniquely identified through their physical characteristics in ways that were science fiction just decades ago. Fingerprint scanning, facial recognition, iris scanning, voice recognition, and even DNA analysis can now identify specific individuals with extraordinary accuracy. More importantly, these biometric systems are being integrated with payment systems to create seamless identification and transaction processing. You can now pay for purchases using your fingerprint, your face, or your voice without carrying any physical payment method. Companies like Amazon are implementing biometric payment systems in their stores where customers can pay simply by scanning their palm. Banks are using facial recognition to verify customer identity. Airports are using biometric scanning to process travelers. The technology exists today to require biometric identification for every financial transaction, exactly matching the biblical description of a mark that is necessary to buy or sell. Third, social credit systems are being deployed that monitor individual behavior and restrict access to services based on compliance with government requirements. China has implemented the most comprehensive social credit system in human history, tracking the behavior of over 1 billion citizens and assigning scores based on their compliance with government policies. Citizens with low social credit scores are restricted from purchasing airline tickets, staying in hotels, accessing government services, and even enrolling their children in certain schools. Similar systems are being developed in other nations under different names, but with the same basic function of monitoring citizen behavior and restricting access to services for those who do not comply with official requirements. These social credit systems create exactly the kind of behavioral control mechanism that would be necessary to enforce the mark of the beast. Fourth, artificial intelligence and surveillance technology have created the capability for real-time monitoring of every individual on the planet. Surveillance cameras equipped with facial recognition can track individuals' movements through cities. Cell phone data reveals location and communication patterns. Internet activity is monitored and analyzed by AI systems. Financial transactions create digital footprints that reveal purchasing patterns and economic relationships. Social media activity reveals personal beliefs and social connections. The combination of these surveillance technologies creates a comprehensive monitoring system that knows where you are, what you are doing, who you are talking to, and what you believe at all times. This level of surveillance would be essential for enforcing compliance with a global mark system. Fifth, the Internet of Things is connecting every device and appliance to digital networks that can be monitored and controlled remotely. Your car, your home security system, your smart television, your fitness tracker, and even your kitchen appliances are now connected to the internet and capable of transmitting data about your behavior. This creates additional layers of surveillance and control that would make it nearly impossible to live independently of digital systems. In a mark of the beast scenario, your access to transportation, housing, and basic services could be controlled through these connected devices based on your compliance with marking requirements. But perhaps most significantly, these technological systems are being integrated into unified platforms that combine identification, payment processing, behavior monitoring, and service access into single systems. QR codes can now store biometric data, payment information, vaccination status, and social credit scores in one scannable image. Digital identity systems being developed by organizations like the World Economic Forum and the United Nations combine all personal information into single digital profiles that can be accessed by governments and corporations worldwide. The technology infrastructure for the mark of the beast is not just being developed, it is being deployed and tested in real-world applications right now. COVID-19 vaccine passports provided a preview of how quickly global digital identification systems can be implemented. In many countries, citizens were required to show digital proof of vaccination to enter restaurants, travel on airplanes, attend events, or access government services. These systems demonstrated that the technology exists to quickly implement global identification requirements, and that populations can be conditioned to accept such requirements in response to claimed emergencies. The vaccine passport systems also revealed how digital identification can be tied to specific behaviors and updated in real time based on compliance with changing requirements. Your digital certificate could be activated or deactivated instantly based on your compliance with official mandates, creating exactly the kind of binary access system described in Revelation. You either have the mark and can participate in commerce, or you do not have the mark and are excluded from the economic system. Current developments in central bank digital currencies are moving us even closer to the biblical scenario. Unlike physical cash, digital currencies can be programmed with specific restrictions and expiration dates. Governments can control where digital money can be spent, what it can be used to purchase, and when it expires if not used. They can also distribute digital money with conditions attached. For example, universal basic income payments that can only be spent on approved goods and services, and that expire if not used within a certain time frame. This programmable money creates unprecedented control over individual economic behavior and could easily be integrated with marking systems that determine who receives access to digital currency. But the mark of the beast will not just be about economic control. It will also be about worship and spiritual allegiance. Revelation chapter 13 makes clear that taking the mark represents submission to the beast and his claims of divinity. The technological systems being developed today could easily be used to enforce religious and ideological compliance, in addition to economic control. Social credit systems already monitor citizen expressions of political dissent and religious activity. AI systems can analyze speech patterns, facial expressions, and behavioral indicators to identify individuals who may be harboring unauthorized beliefs or attitudes. Digital identification systems can track attendance at religious services, charitable donations to disfavored organizations, and social connections with individuals who hold disapproved viewpoints. The same technology that enables economic control also enables ideological control on an unprecedented scale. The convergence of these technological developments is creating a global infrastructure that could support exactly the kind of comprehensive control system that John described in Revelation. For the first time in human history, it is technologically feasible to require every person on Earth to submit to a digital identification system that controls their access to commerce, services, and social participation. The question is no longer whether such a system could be implemented, but when it will be activated and who will control it when it is. Current global crises are being used to justify the implementation of these control systems under the banner of public health, national security, environmental protection, and economic stability. Each crisis provides an opportunity to expand surveillance, increase digital identification requirements, and condition populations to accept greater levels of government control over their daily lives. The same pattern that was used to implement COVID vaccine passports could be used to implement climate change restrictions, financial monitoring systems, or ideological compliance requirements. What makes this especially concerning for biblical prophecy students is that these systems are being implemented by international organizations and global corporations, rather than individual national governments. The World Economic Forum, the United Nations, the World Health Organization, and major technology companies are coordinating the development of global digital identification and monitoring systems that transcend national boundaries. This creates exactly the kind of international power structure that would be necessary for the beast system described in Revelation. But here is what believers need to understand. The technology of the beast system is not evil in itself, but it creates the infrastructure that will be used by evil leaders for evil purposes. The same biometric systems that can provide secure identification can also be used to track and control dissidents. The same digital payment systems that provide convenience can also be used to exclude people from commerce based on their beliefs. The same AI systems that can provide helpful services can also be used to monitor and control human behavior. The technology is morally neutral, but its potential for abuse is unprecedented in human history. This means that believers today face a unique challenge that previous generations did not face. We must navigate an increasingly digital world while maintaining spiritual discernment about when digital systems cross the line into spiritual compromise. We must use beneficial technologies while remaining aware of their potential for abuse. We must prepare for a future where refusing certain digital systems may result in economic hardship or social exclusion. Most importantly, we must maintain our ultimate allegiance to Christ rather than to any human system or technology, no matter how convenient or necessary it may seem. The Bible is clear that taking the mark of the beast will be an irreversible spiritual decision that results in eternal damnation. Revelation chapter 14 warns that anyone who takes the mark will drink of the wine of God's wrath and will be tormented with fire and brimstone forever. This means that when the actual mark is implemented, it will be a conscious choice between serving Christ and serving the beast, between spiritual freedom and technological convenience. For believers living today, this creates urgency about several important issues. First, we must develop spiritual discernment about technology and its proper role in our lives. We cannot simply adopt every new digital system without considering its implications for our faith and freedom. Second, we must prepare practically for the possibility that faithfulness to Christ may require us to opt out of certain technological systems, even if that creates hardship or inconvenience. Third, we must share the gospel with urgency, because the window of easy evangelism may be closing as digital systems create new forms of persecution for Christian believers. Fourth, we must study biblical prophecy so that we can recognize the mark of the beast when it is actually implemented, rather than being deceived by its promises of convenience and security. The technology infrastructure for the beast system is being built right now, but we do not yet live under the beast system itself. The current digital control systems are prototypes and testing grounds for what will eventually become the comprehensive global system described in Revelation. This gives us time to prepare spiritually, practically, and evangelistically for what is coming. But it also means we must watch carefully for the activation of the final components of this system and the rise of the leader who will use it to demand worship from the entire world. I want you to think carefully about your own relationship with digital technology and identification systems. Are you becoming dependent on systems that could be used to control your behavior? Are you allowing convenience to override caution when it comes to privacy and surveillance? Are you maintaining the spiritual independence that will be necessary to resist the mark of the beast when it is actually implemented? Leave a comment below and tell me how this analysis of current technology and biblical prophecy affects your perspective on digital systems. What specific technologies concern you most?